Welcome to the Zarlequan Infamous!
Unleash your potential.
Thank God. I think I do believe times have changed. I was talking to a lady. She used to work for ESPN, and it took a while for her to even get on like the TV screen. And now, obviously, you see like women. There's a good bit of women that's in sports now, and I love seeing that. So you're right, man. It's sad that people have a certain type of mindset and stuff like that. Because it, it's interesting because I've also heard like conversation where like that has actually impacted like the effects on like relationships within households and stuff like that, whether if the female spouse is making more money and all of these other things and stuff like that. It's
Oh
gotten
yeah.
crazy. So
Yeah.
a lot of time, I think quite a few of people is they just get into business and there's not actually a strategic plan of how to grow and scale the business. And you'll find that whenever you sit down and actually audit a company, audit a business, you will see where there's holes, there's gaps, and there's discrepancies. So leaning back on what I do now and my experience, you'll find that sometimes leaders or business owners are in the business and they suffer with delegating and learning how to leverage different people's talents within their company or outsourcing different things within that business. The other aspect of that I want to say is when it comes to putting plans and putting things together, is that you're not going to always get to a certain level in the industry that you're in. So you may need to partner with other people. You may need to work with other companies and things like that. That's going to help generate that revenue that you need. You also may look at what at your finances and see where how much money or how much revenue that you do have coming in, where you might be able to go back to the bank, get some more capital, get some more money, and then take that money and then leverage it in other areas. We could create other streams of revenue for your company. One of the biggest things I think business owners is also missing out on is there's tons of opportunity to work with the government. So being someone that worked in the government as a project manager and a contractor, you'll be surprised that if you're in transportation logistics, you're in admin, you're in tech, whatever. The government has tons of contracts that's sitting there in the millions, and you already have those experience, you already have those certifications, you already have those credibilities where you could be a prime contractor or a subcontractor, which will automatically, if you continuously to bid, which I show you how to bid on contracts, you'll see that there's opportunities for you to easily win a $10 million contract. There's opportunities for you to win $5 million contracts and things like that within your space.
So here's okay. So I work with a lot of authors. One of the biggest questions that I have is that they ask me is the like marketing, or well, what do I spend money on? Do I get a virtual assistant? Do I spend a bunch of money on marketing? If I don't have money yet, do I spend that money, or do I take the time to figure out how to do it myself? And what are the most important things?
For myself, when I decided to write a book, I invested in someone that's already written a book, that was already a best-selling author, and figured out their blueprint of how to write a book. So looking at that and coming up with my game plan of writing my book, it was from the standpoint of who is my target audience? Who do I want to get this book in front of, right? And then from there, my audience was the people that struggled with obviously some of the same things that I struggled with. So I identified and found those groups, whether it was in Facebook groups, your LinkedIn groups, your different social media platforms and things like that. And then also I incorporated all of my family and friends that was within my 30,000 contact list database.
Sweet.
So I told everyone, hey, I'm getting ready to write. The thing is, you got to create that build up, that momentum that you're writing this book. And you'll be surprised how many people that's going to be there to support you and cheer you on for you to get this accomplished and get you across that finish line. So what I did within that process is I told everyone that, hey, I I've been on this journey of self-discovery, and I'm trying to write this book, but I've been struggling to write this book. And what that does is create that connectivity, that human connection with people, where they have that, people have a heart, people have emotions. And I think that's one of the things when you got to like work with people and tying on their emotions too as well. And from there, I shared my story. I struggled for 6 years to write my book. And it was not until I had that breakthrough and started going through all of these things that was going to help me to heal myself, because I could not pour into anybody else or give anybody else my story until I worked on myself first. And for me to be transparent and vulnerable, I found that I connected with so many people. And from there, I once I started creating that buildup, creating that momentum, and people knew that I had my book coming out, and just giving them little tidbits. It's coming this day, where this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm working on. That was a part of the buildup. From there, me and my team, we put together the outline. We put together who did I want to write the forward for my book, which was Captain Venning. He was there with me in Iraq. He has a good bit of supporters there in the Pentagon, so that was also helpful for a veteran. And then from there, I outlined the book, and I went from chapter to chapter to chapter writing the book. Excuse me. And it took me 90 days to write the book, and I edited the book to get to the final version, I want to say up to 15 times. And from me editing the book, we got it out there, put it out there, and released the book. And it was a great support for the launch party that we did. It was amazing. We played some games and things like that, but it was amazing just to see the support of the people, to hear my story, hear my journey, hear some of the life lessons that I put inside of the book. And it was a great outcome and great support. But that was the strategy that I did in regards to the launch of my book.
I think you're correct. Actually, but that is something creatives altogether. I won't say just authors, but all creatives tend to get so excited to share. Okay, it's finished, and so they want to just slam it out. But I think that it is a really good idea to take the patience and like, restrain yourself and build up the momentum. Like, hey, here I am in the process, and showing every bit of it, because you'll get a gathering of people that are build a community, and they'll be like, oh, cheering for you, but you're also going to have some backlash. There's going to be people that are like, you're dumb. But you have to know that there's going to be those people as well, and so you just have to take those as it come.
That comes with the territory. When I released the book, I talked about a kid that went through childhood trauma from being in a situation or molested from a family member that also ran into a situation with the Boy Scouts too as well. And it was a touchy topic, especially for men or Black African American men. That's maybe like a taboo topic we don't talk about. And then the other thing with that, on top of that, was your mental health and committing suicide and those types of things. And for me as a veteran, that was extremely important to get that message out, how we need to address mental health and take care of our mental health, and find different resources and avenues to fix some of these things that's tied to it, the depression, the anxiety, the suicide, and it also carried over for myself. I got married too as well. So that affected the family dynamics of what I was dealing with. So I wanted to make sure I addressed some of those topics and some of those issues within the book. And there was some backlash in regards to what some people may say in regards to like talking about some of these topics. And if you look at the book cover, it's I didn't hide from it. So if you look at the book cover, you'll see every single thing that I just said to you is on the cover of the book. And I did that intentionally. So, but with that being said, it was fine for me. I was I was in a great space in my life where I was able to talk about the book, and not one thing bothered me one bit.
I think that's super important, because for so long we have created a society that we don't talk about our mental health, and people do just unalive themselves, and it does happen regularly, or they self-harm, or all sorts of different avenues, and that is not something we address whatsoever. And especially if you are a male, it seems like I would say that for me, especially a business, that women, we tend to not show our emotions. Like, no, like you don't get to know that part. But for men, even in a close relationship, I'd found that they have a hard time expressing emotions outside of anger.
Yeah, so we grow up under the norm of men should withhold their feelings and emotions, and we should be tough and we should be macho. And, you know, if you grow up around a bunch of guys, you're going to be labeled a punk, a sissy, a wimp, you know, and guys don't want those titles tagged to them. So they bottle those feelings in and they keep those emotions in. And for me, you know, as you know, like the biggest thing for me is breaking the bottle and shattering all of those limiting beliefs that comes with all of those titles that's tagged to you. I feel that we're in a day and age where you should be your true authentic self and you should not worry about what people think about you. You should go on and live in your life the best way you see fit and the best way that you want to make an impact in this world. We came in this world alone and we're going to leave alone, and you should not care one bit about what anybody else think about you in regards to their opinions, their thoughts, and their feelings.
I absolutely agree. I always quote, my mom told me my whole life, you know, those that matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter. You know, just keep going. So, no, I think that that is absolutely true. We need to build a community of people that can really talk about these things in a space. And you know what? We go through so many things in life, and you will come to a point in your life where you're like, what am I doing? Like, why am I here? It will be the the darkest, you know, time of your life, and you do come to that decision. Why do I even exist? What am I here for? And it's people like you, and you know, I hear these stories. That's why we listen to these amazing stories of all the trials, and that's why sharing with vulnerability and sharing people like, this is what I've gone through, and look, I didn't give up, and this is what can happen. You can be successful, you can make it through those dark times, because they are going to happen. We are humans having a human experience, and it is going to happen. I think it's dangerous to pretend like it doesn't. I think we should be having more conversations of, what do I do with it when I get there?
You know what's so interesting? It was when I had that breakthrough and that transformation and started owning myself and like loving myself, caring about myself, and acknowledging my self-worth and the belief within myself. And then from there, you know, I think your point was really about like identifying what's your purpose, what's your mission out here in this world. And I identified those things when I came up with the concept for myself. You've heard the word 3D, but for me, it was decision, direction, and destination. And I always looked at what's the direction I want to take my life? What's the direction I want to go? What's the decisions I need to make towards that direction, and the ultimate destination of where I want to be in life? And how am I going to get there? Is it writing this book? Is it creating this company? Is it I'm surrounding myself with the right people? Is it being in the right groups? Is it getting out here and telling my story, right? Doing all the right things that's going to lead to the destination of where I want to be at. You know, when I look at life and when I look at things, the average person passes away in their 70s, 80s. So I look at, all right, I'm 42 years old now. How much time do I have left to maximize this time that I have here on this earth? You know, and that right there brought me so much clarity when it was time to identify my purpose, identify my mission, identify my goals, identify all of the things that I want to do and accomplish in life, because you don't have that much time. Tomorrow's not promised. Your health is not promised. So you never know. So for me, it was to be super intentional in regards to maximizing the time that I do have.
That is absolutely the space I've been in lately, is like creating a legacy. Like, wow, everything I do, I want it to be towards my, because I don't know. You could go, you know, like I was just, I told someone I was just interviewing Terry Tucker, who was diagnosed with cancer in 2012 and given 2 years to live. I mean, he has a terminus date. He's been alive early. He's done a good job, but he knows there's a terminus, and he's like, you know, very passionate about people following their purpose. And it doesn't even have to be just one purpose. They can be multidimensional, and you can have many purposes throughout your lifespan. But as I think after, you know, we hit 40, we're like, you know what? This has got to be meaningful. I have to be here for some reason.
Yeah, you know, when I came to America, right, I was trying to get acclimated and try to speak American English, because I came up in Miami, where I was around a lot of Haitian Creole kids and Spanish kids. So and American kids. So I'm trying to figure out which way to talk, which language, who to hang out with, and all of these different types of things. And in the midst of that, I got lost. Then I joined the service. So I got acclimated to being in the military and then serving. And then I got out and I got into the corporate world, but I was going through these different shifts. It really did taught me how to pivot, how to be flexible, how to be adaptable to things. But it was always a different shift, and I was still trying to navigate things. And it was not until I actually got to my late 30s, obviously early 40s, to actually like figuring out what does Michael really want to do. And it took some time.
Yeah, it does take some time. And I think that's another thing is don't be so hard on yourself. Like, you don't have to have it all figured out. I have met people that are like, from the time I was 5, I knew exactly. And I'm like, that was not me. So,
I thought I was gonna be an artist. I thought I was gonna be a football player. I thought I was gonna be a restaurateur where I was gonna be one of the top chefs in the world. When I got on my hook of Gordon Ramsay, so I thought I was gonna be a cooker and all that stuff. So I've been through different phases of trying things or thinking I was gonna be something. But you're right, yeah, absolutely.
yeah. I think the whole point is, I think, enjoy the journey and, try to build something for the future, but enjoy the journey. Like I tell my kids that I'm like, we planned for a long time to go on vacation, and vacation is very short. We're spending
Mm.
all the time in the preparation. So let's make this pleasant. Let's not make this stressful. This has to be fun.
No doubt. Me and my wife, right? So we said that we're not gonna wait till we're 65 to retire to like live out this life that the so-called retirement I guess message out there that would say you wait till 65 and live your life. So we don't live like that. So every single year we sit down and we actually plan out what are the trips that we're going to take next year, and we put those on the calendar and plan for them. And I want to tell you this, Brittany, for every single trip that we planned out for 2023, we've executed every single one except for one. And we're supposed to go to Egypt, which was in December. And obviously, there's a war going on right now. That's the only reason why we did not go to this trip in Egypt. But for the most part, every single trip that we've planned out, we've knocked them out. I don't think that you should sit around and wait, especially when, like I said before, tomorrow's not promised.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, if anybody connected with you, how can they find you online?
Definitely. So the website for me is www.michaelwallison.com. Also, the Adversity Academy is www.theadversityacademy.com. And all social media, I am Michael W Allison. And if you ever wanted to send me an email, just send it to mallison@theadversityacademy.com.
Awesome. That is so wonderful. So the Adversity Academy, is that different? Can you explain what that is a little bit?
Definitely. So the Adversity Academy itself is the platform where I do my coaching, my consulting programs, and different workshops for different companies or individual clients that may need some training as a per se based off of the programs that we have to offer. So we have a personal development program, we have a business development program, and then we also have a mentorship program where you come through the program and you get monthly coaching, you get monthly workshop training based off some of the things that I've already scheduled, but you get to schedule time with me for Q&As where I could help you with whether it's personal development or I could help you in your business and help you to move along. And that's something that I wanted to do because I do believe that personal development and business development do align. I don't think they're separate. And that's the combination that I wanted to put together based off of my experience, based off of some things that I've done in the business or in the corporate world. They do align and you cannot separate those two.
I completely agree with that. I like that new trend that it is about personal development, being better human beings. I think that's a beautiful trend. I think you're a wonderful person. I've enjoyed meeting you. You have a really sweet spirit, and it's been fun getting to know you.
Likewise too, Brittany, I appreciate it.
The Zarlequan Indieverse.